If you get stuck at any point in the tutorial, feel free to join my Discord server for support and for a general Harry Potter community. Link is in the description. Hello everyone, this is Dragonod and welcome to another episode of How to Build Hogwarts in Minecraft. And today we're going to be building the bell towers, which are these two lovely squares right here. And these bell towers are very similar to the design of the central tower, except there's some slightly more detail on them and they are slightly smaller. And once complete, they will look like this. And of course, these are the two bell towers inspired by the Durham bell towers in Durham Cathedral. I have already kind of gone into some detail about the bell towers in previous videos, so without further ado, let's get straight into it. And so my bell towers, they are kind of divided into 5 main sections. 3 of them, the 3 up at the bottom, they are kind of large, and then the 2 at the top are kind of smaller. Obviously that will become clear once we actually start to build them. And so starting off, we're going to be building the first section of the bell towers, and this section is 12 blocks tall. So upon the foundations you previously built in episode 1, we're going to go up 12 more blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just right there. And what we are going to need to do is of course build this entire area in 12 blocks tall. So we can make use of the fill command again. And so to use the fill command, what we can do is just build a 4x4 platform right here. Just like so. And so what we can do is just standing on any of these blocks, to be honest, we can run the command /fill, one squiggle line, -1, another squiggle line, another squiggle line, another squiggle line, -13, and then another squiggle line, just like that. And as you can see, the first 3 are in blue, they represent the first corner, which is the block that I'm directly standing on, and the last 3, which are in yellow, they represent the block which is 13 blocks beneath where we are standing, and that is the block all the way at the bottom. And we are going to do is cut sandstone. Of course, if you're on bedrock, you'll use sandstone 2 with a space in between sandstone and 2 rather than cut sandstone. And so press enter, and as you can see, it fills in all of the blocks beneath us, just like so. And of course that command is universal and will work on every version of Minecraft, and of course you can just use this exact same command since there are no specific coordinates. And so what you can do of course is just run this command on every single one of these blocks, just like so. And as you can see, they are being filled in behind me, and that will basically just create this entire column of 12 blocks tall. And so what we can do of course is just build up 12 more blocks on each of these 4 columns on the side of the bell tower, and using the exact same principle we did is we built up 12 blocks, we built out our 4x4 area on top, which is of course identical, like kind of in line with this area down here, and of course just running this command every time. Of course if you are on Java Edition or Windows 10, you can of course just enter the chat pressing T and press the up button to load the previous command, the up arrow to load the previous command. I'm not sure about console editions, you might have to retype it every time, so it might actually just be easier to build this area by hand. And of course, just build this up on all of the other corners. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 blocks up, and then build out your 4x4 area, just like this, making sure it is in line with the 4x4 area down at the bottom, right there. And then of course, using the exact same command, just run this onto all of these blocks up here. Of course, if you're on bedrock, it is not cut sandstone, it is sandstone 2. And of course, just repeat this onto the last column. And what is very nice about the bell towers is they are symmetrical on every single side. I will run through one side and then you guys can copy it onto the other 3. And so to start off this middle area of the bell tower, what we are going to do is head to the middle 2 blocks just right here and build up 4 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that, that should be in the middle, just kind of this like upside down T. And then from each side, you can just build across a beam, just like so. And you will notice this looks very, very similar to these areas here. So naturally, we will be building up a archway in here. And so what you can do is of course using some smooth sandstone stairs, is just to build an archway just in there on both sides, just like so, just like that. And then behind, we can obviously place in our smooth sandstone, just like this, just to add some texture and some depth into the bell towers. So obviously, just build these 3x3 squares in behind this archway. And that will look just like that. And then for the next set, we have our first window of the bell tower. So grab yourself some sandstone walls and build these up 4 blocks along here. So leaving these 2 blocks in the middle, put up 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side, just like that. And then behind in the actual bell tower, place your cut sandstone blocks behind here, just like so. And then this is a window, so we're using our window blocks, and for this tutorial I think the black stained glass is a good shade for the Hogwarts windows. So of course just build that behind in a 2x4 area, just like that, and actually go up one more block, so you can make this a 2x5 window. And then on each side of this window, what we can do is obviously just go ahead and fill in this space along here until we come up to the top of these columns we just built in the last step, just like so. And then repeat that on the other side, just building this up all the way until we come to the top of what we've already built, just like so. And then there will be a 2x3 area in here, which you can go ahead and fill in with cut sandstone. And then in this gap here, we will obviously round off with a nice archway, just like that. And that is the first section of the central tower now done. And so the next section we are going to be building is 13 blocks above this area. And so what we actually are going to do is just grab yourself a diamond block, just as a marker so you guys will know where this section ends. So place a diamond block and just place it right there, just as a kind of indicator where this section ends, so we will come back to it later. And so on this section you will go up 13 more blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, just like that. And as usual, to fill in this area we can obviously use our dynamic fill command. And so as usual we will build up a 4x4 area just over here. And of course we will run the command again. So again /fill, and then one squiggle, -1, and then one squiggle. That there is this block we're standing on, and then one squiggle again, and then -13 blocks, and then -14 blocks, just like so, then another squiggle, just like that. So again, the first 3 in blue are the first coordinate, the last 3 in yellow are the second coordinate, and then of course, cut sandstone. Again, sandstone 2 if you are bedrock edition, and of course just do that and it will fill in these blocks along here. And so go ahead and run this command onto all 4 sides, just like so, on every single block, just like that. And of course we will have to do that onto all 4 of these columns once again. So build up 13 more blocks, so it should be the same height as this column, and of course build in your 4x4 column, your 4x4 area, just like this. And of course run the same command on every single block. Of course if you are on console and you may have to type this in every time, it's not really worth it, so you may as well just go ahead and build this out by hand, just like so. And of course just repeat these steps onto these 2 columns here. And then if you are fortunate enough to have Word Edit installed, which is a Java mod, what you can do actually is just take your block, which is 13 blocks up, just like that. And then if you do come to the diagonal corner, just like this, and then you can just do //walls, and then cut sandstone. This will only work if you have the World Edit mod installed and you are playing on Java Edition. And so of course if you do not have World Edit, or if you are on Bedrock, you'll just use the original command which I just showed you, and of course do that onto the remaining pillar. And now that we have actually now built up these pillars, we will return to our diamond block which we just placed down, and on the block above it we will make a layer of cuts of sandstone slabs just looping around just on the block above this diamond block. And this will of course just come around the entire bell tower. It will come in one block in this middle section and just wrap around here, coming out one more block for the belt for these columns, and just wrapping all the way around. Of course I'm going to stop here since you guys can obviously repeat this onto all 4 sides. And so in these pillars we do have some actual decoration, and so what we can do is leaving 2 blocks above here, so 1 block, 2 blocks, punch in 2 sandstone walls just right there, and then moving up 1 block you can smash in a 2x4 area just right here, just like that. And then behind here you can go ahead and place in some cut sandstone just as a slight indent, and of course some smooth sandstone stairs just to arch it off just like that. And of course repeat this onto the other column over here. So again leave a 2 block gap, well technically 1.5, so this 1.5 block, this half block here, and then our sandstone walls just right there. And then leaving another block right there, you'll break in a 2x4 area, so 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. And then behind you'll place in your cut sandstone to fill in the gap, and then of course some sandstone stairs to arch it off just like so. And so if we now go to the middle section, we'll build up 4 more blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course just build that up for this entire area along here. And a quick reminder, if you are enjoying this series and you're not subscribed, make sure to press that subscribe button. It really does support the channel, and it's free and you guys can unsubscribe at any point. And so this will take us to our second window, which is going to be 5 by 2, just like this window down here. However, the design is slightly different, and so if we leave our 2 blocks in the middle and we just build out just like that, and on top of these blocks we'll go up 5 more blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then of course just build a beam in the middle, just like that. And then of course on either side you can go ahead and fill in these gaps along here, just for the same height as this line here, and that will look just like that. And since it's a window, we'll obviously need to place some glass in behind, so go ahead and just fill in this area with glass. It should make a 5 by 2 area, just like that. And then of course to round off, you will use some smooth sandstone stairs to make an archway just like that. And then on top of that, you'll go ahead and place in the remaining 3 blocks to come to the same height as the columns along here. And that will look just like that. And then to finish off this section, we'll grab ourselves some sandstone slabs and just wrap these around just along here, just like that. Obviously coming in for this middle section, just like that, and then of course coming back out along here just for the 4 columns in the corners. And of course I'm only going to be showing one side in this tutorial, since it is obviously identical onto all 4 sides, and I think you guys can just easily copy it onto these other sides along here. Don't worry if it does kind of go into this area, just kind of make it fit, and I'll just kind of show you guys how that does kind of fit together later in the episode. Right, and then now that we have approached our third section, this section is kind of where it starts to get kind of more decorative, and it becomes much more open and has open windows rather than actual windows. And so this section is slightly smaller and is only 8 blocks tall. So if you do come up 8 blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just like that. And of course we can build up our 4 by 4 area just along here, just like that. And of course using the exact same trick we used earlier, we can use /fill, 1 squiggle, 1 squiggle, -1, 1 squiggle. This of course is the block beneath us, and then 1 squiggle, and then 1 squiggle, and then -8, which will select the block 8 blocks below us, and of course finish that off with the Y squiggle. And of course cut sandstone, however sandstone's 2 if you are playing on Bedrock Edition. And of course that will fill in all of the blocks beneath you, and so of course just run that onto all of these blocks along here, just to finish off this area. And that will look just like that. And as, of course, as usual, we'll go up onto all of our other 4 columns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, building in our 4 by 4 area, just like that. And then using the exact same command we just used onto all of these blocks up here, just to finish off this column. And then obviously repeat these onto the other 2 columns. And if you have done it right, it should be flush with this wall along here, which we built in the last episode. Don't worry if you do have to break a few blocks or fill in some gaps, that is absolutely fine. This build is just so big that 1 block differences really do not make much of a difference. And as you can see, it is full of these massive long roof sections, which, for honest, they can just be extended by 1 or 2 blocks if necessary. And so starting off the third section, we'll obviously start it off with these 2 columns here. And so leaving a 1 block gap, we will obviously smash in some sandstone walls, just like that. This is very similar to down there. And then leaving 1 block, we'll smash in a 4 by 2 area, just like that. And of course, just like we did before, we'll place in some cut sandstone behind, just like this, and some smooth sandstone stairs just in there to round off the arch. And of course, repeat this onto the other side, so leaving 1 block gap just there, smash in some sandstone walls, and then another 1 block gap, and then a 2 by 4 kind of indent, and then with the cut sandstone behind just filling the gaps, and then of course the smooth sandstone stairs. And in this area in the middle, we will continue to use our walls. And so what we will do is of course just build up 1 block just like so, and then on top of here, place 2 blocks here, 2 sandstone walls there, 1 block there, 2 sandstone walls here, 1 block here, and then 2 sandstone walls, and that will look just like that. And then on top of here, we'll just build another line of cut sandstone. And so in this remaining area, we do have 3 kind of archway gaps. And so what we will do is come up 5 blocks onto these kind of pillared areas here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like that. And of course, just fill in this kind of beam across here, which should be the same height as these pillars which we just built. And that will look just like that. And then we'll go ahead and just fill in these archways with some smooth sandstone stairs, just like so. And of course, these are open areas, and so we will not be placing any blocks behind. And that will take us very nicely onto the 5th. And that will take us very nicely onto the 4th section. And before we do that, we will place a diamond block right here, just to mark off where this section does end. And so this section is again slightly smaller and is 9 blocks tall. So as usual, we will build up 9 blocks on here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And my gosh, we are really starting to get some height right now. And of course, along here, we will build up our 4x4 area as we have done every single other time. Just like that. Of course, this is obviously going to be in line with everything else we have built. And then again, we can use our fill command. So this time it will be /fill. Again, this exact same thing here. So one squiggle -1, and then another squiggle. And then this time there's another squiggle, and then another squiggle, and then -9 this time. And then another squiggle, just like that. And then cut sandstone. Just there. Of course, sandstone too if you are on bedrock. And there we go. So of course, to repeat this onto every single block along here. Just like that. And then of course, you will need to go ahead and repeat this onto all of these other 3 sides. And that will look just like that. And of course, we'll go ahead and return to our diamond block here. And on the block above it, we will place our line of cut of sandstone slabs, just to represent the kind of divider in these sections. And of course, we'll just wrap around the bell towers just like here, going in for the middle section, and of course going out again for the 4 columns in the corners. And that will look just like that. And of course, this just does go ahead and wrap all the way around. And so our 4th area is pretty similar to this area below, except it has now a much more open area. And so for this section, we will need a new block, which is of course birch fences. I don't know why I said of course, that's not obvious at all. I don't know. And so in this area, we will punch in another 2x4 archway, just right there, just in the block above this area here. And of course behind it, we will go ahead and place in some cut sandstone, just to fill in the gap behind. And then some smooth sandstone stairs just in there to arch it off. And of course the exact same thing on the other side with the 2x4 area punched in and with the cut sandstone blocks behind to fill in the gap. And of course smooth sandstone stairs to kind of round it off just like that. And so if you go to the middle section, we'll build up 1 more block just like here, just like that. And then a layer of just sandstone walls just going across the entire place. And then we'll place some cut sandstone blocks on top, just like that. And then leaving a 3 block gap, just like that, we'll place another beam along here, just like so. And then leaving another 1 block gap, we'll place another beam just like this along here. And that will look like this. So this gap here should be 3 blocks, and then a layer of blocks, and then another 1 block gap, and then a 1 block, and then a beam across just there. And so in this section, the ideal solution would be just to use sandstone walls along, but however they do connect together, which is very infuriating. So we will go ahead and we will just use a combination of sandstone walls and birch fences, since as you can see they do not connect together, and they can create a kind of illusion of a layer of columns. And so we'll first start off with some birch fences just there, and in the next block along, sandstone walls going up, and in the next block we'll go ahead and alternate to birch fences, and as you can see they do not actually link together, which allows us to create these kind of columns supporting this area. And of course just go ahead and alternate these as you go, just like that. And you will notice that this is sandstone walls on this side, and this is birch fence on this side. There's not much we can really do about that. And then of course on here we'll go ahead and obviously alternate once again in this 1 block gap here which we left earlier. And that will now look like that. And then of course to round off the 4th section, we'll grab ourselves some sandstone slabs and just go ahead and place these along the top, just like so, wrapping round as usual, just as we have done before, wrapping around, going into the middle section, and of course coming back out for the 4 columns in the corners, just like so. And that will look just like that. And yeah, it's really looking fabulous. I absolutely love the bell tower designs, and I think they do look really, really cool. And so the 5th and final section of the bell towers, which is incidentally the smallest, is only 5 blocks tall. And so what we will do is of course come up 5 more blocks on this pillar here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like so. And of course we'll go ahead and fill this in with blocks. Of course you can use the same kind of logic with the command, and so if you do want to do that, you'll go ahead and obviously place in your 4x4 area and do /fill, of course the exact same thing as earlier. And then of course we want to fill that in with cut sandstone just like that, and that will be done just like so. And so just repeat that onto the other sides along here. And I think this is the final time I'm going to say it, is of course if you are in Bedrock Edition, you'll use the Sandstone 2 ID as cut sandstone, which is sandstone and then a space and then 2. And then of course you repeat that onto the other side, so of course come up 5 blocks, it's the same height as this one basically, and of course use the exact same command to fill in this pillar, just like so, and of course repeat that onto the other 2 at the back. And then that will look just like that. And so of course we'll start off with the pillar area here, and so leave a 1 block gap and smash in a 2 by 2 gap just right here, and fill this in with sandstone walls just like so. And of course repeat that onto the other side, so leaving a 1 block gap and then 2 by 2 sandstone walls just in right there. And then in the middle section we will build up 1 more block using our cut sandstone, and as you probably notice it is getting more open and more open as we go. And so leave a 2 block gap and then build another beam along here, just like so, just like that. And then grabbing yourself some sandstone walls, and then you can place 1 block here, leave a 1 block gap and then place another 2, just like that. And then leave a 2 block gap and then another 2, and then a 1 block gap and then another 2 just here. And of course that should be symmetrical, just like that. And then of course to build up another block on top, just to finish this area off. And that will all look just like so. And yeah, we can go ahead and remove all of these ugly diamond blocks. And so now it is time for you guys to go ahead and repeat this onto the other 3 sides. Of course, this is absolutely identical, so I think it should be pretty easy for you guys to do it. And so I will leave you guys to go ahead and do that. And then of course on this side next to the actual long gallery, you obviously don't need to build all of this area, you can just go ahead and start it from this kind of length along here. And of course I will see you guys once you have repeated it onto the other 3 sides. And once you've done that, it will look just like this, with all 4 sides obviously identical. And then down here you will notice there are some small gaps, and so what we can just do is of course just carry on this roof along here to fill in these gaps. And of course just continue into this window just there. And if you don't really like the look of this kind of half window, you can obviously just go ahead and remove it just like so, and just build up in here, just kind of remove that gap just there, but of course that is entirely up to you. And so now that is all done, what we can do is actually go ahead and come in from these middle areas and just fill these in and just come out 1 more block, just kind of make these kind of corners along here nice and flush, and just do that onto all 4 sides, and that will allow us to build the top of the tower. And what you will do is grab yourself some sandstone stairs and just build out along here and make sure they're all upside down, and just wrap these all the way around this top of the tower. And of course just like on that tower over there, this will prepare us for the kind of towers on top. So go ahead and just wrap this all the way around, and that will allow us to go ahead and prepare for the finish of the towers. And that will look just like that. And then actually what we want to do is of course just fill in this entire area with cut sandstone. So take this coordinate right here, just look at it and press tab 3 times, press enter, nothing will happen, and go to the opposite corner right here, load in the previous command with the up arrow or whatever equivalent, or just type it in again, and press tab 3 more times, and obviously fill it in with cut sandstone, and press enter. And there we go. And so that will conclude today's episode. Of course what you can do is you can go ahead and repeat this area all the way onto this area right here. Of course you can use clone commands if you are familiar with them, or you can just go ahead and build it by hand again. I will cover how to clone this onto the other side in next episode, and so I would like to thank you guys very much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to smash that like button, and of course press subscribe if you've not done so. And of course if you did get stuck at any point in the tutorial, there is my Discord server for support, and of course just join it for an amazing Harry Potter community. Moderator applications will be done at 500 members, which we are growing to there very rapidly. We're currently on 480. So thank you guys very much for watching. I will see you guys next episode, and I will see you then.